Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page right here at Facebook, where I do a daily live stream based on the divination card draw that I do in the morning. We've been doing this since May, this past May, and it's been fun. It's kind of like a spiritual roundtable in the cyber world, or it's just so that we can have a spiritual conversation. And I really kind of like it because I get to hang out with my community in the afternoons and get to talk about some fun spiritual stuff and some serious spiritual stuff, that sort of thing. As you might notice, I am broadcasting from a different space today. We have some snowy kind of weather going on here. It's not, constant yet. We're supposed to get like 8 inches of snow out of this one. And for right now, in this moment, it's not really snowing very much right now. We go from kind of a wet, misty kind of thing to snow. And yeah, it's kind of slippery out there. So what I did is I went up to the academy and grabbed my microphone and my camera, and not the whole studio, but a good portion of it, so I could broadcast from here. And I used to broadcast from my home down in my my office when we first started doing live streams, Be Live live streams back in a year ago this past September. And so part of the old studio is down there, everything but the router. And I kind of need the router for a good signal. So I'm in my dining room. Yeah, my dining room. This is the 4-season porch behind me. And in Wisconsin, it's really more like a 3-season porch or 2.5-season porch. And these days it is George's playroom. Yeah. So before we get rolling with the cards, if I could ask you to please share and like the broadcast, the live stream, that would be really great to help us out with that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'd show you my phone, but I'm kind of on a short tether for my phone because I need to charge it, and it's not a long enough line. So anyway, I'm going to our main fan page so that I can find our live stream, and I'm going to like and share. Here we are. Going to like it, and I'm going to share it to my news feed. We do this every day, right? And so I have all these really cool quick keys now. And I'm live streaming. And then please join. And I think I'm going to add an emoticon to this one. How about a purple heart and a couple stars? There we go. Hey, the lighting doesn't look too bad. I was really concerned about the lighting. But it doesn't look too bad. So let's see who's in the chat so far. We got Julie Shumway Hill here. Good afternoon, Julie. So good that you're here with us this afternoon. Yeah, I don't know what it's like in the southern part of the state or south central part of the state, but up here this morning it was very interesting. Paul called me when he got to work and said it's an interesting drive. It was kind of misty and it would freeze on the windshield. And so that's how we started the morning out. It is January though, right? Rochelle says, hello, Neshi. Got my hair cut and shopped at Family General. Pooped me out. Well, sounds like you got a lot done. And of course you're tired. Man, you haven't been, you've been convalescing. So now you've got to build up your strength, your stamina. Rob says, I loved and shared. Deal with it. I will. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Hello, Tina, and everyone, she says. Good to have you here, Tina. And Jackie's here too. Hi, Jackie. It's good to have you here. Cindy's here too. Hey, Cindy. Good one. Yeah, it's I think I said the other day, I really kind of enjoy snowstorms And actually all storms. My favorite, though, my all-time favorite is thunder snow. Thunder snow. When it's snowing so hard out that you can barely see a few feet in front of you, that kind of thing. Not necessarily windy like a blizzard, but when it's thunder snowing, my favorite. And my mom, she says that when it thunder snows is that we're supposed to pay attention to it because that means there's big change coming. Big change coming. Yeah. And I have to say that, in those times that I've had experienced thunder snow, we've had, personally, I've had, big change in that year. So very interesting. Yeah. Let's see. I got to scroll down just a bit here. And hey, Tina says, weather here is bad, blowing and drifting snow. Yeah, we don't have the wind. Yeah. Actually, when it was snowing earlier, about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, it was actually kind of pretty, almost snow globe kind of look to it. And it was actually kind of pretty. Cindy says, this new light shows off your beautiful skin tone. Well, thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. If you could only see what this is, how it's jerry rigged, you'd probably have a hoot. It's kind of, I had to make do. But thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you, Stephanie, for putting the post in there about the magazine. In fact, I think I hardly ever show this, but I'm going to show it on screen. This is the kind of work that our social media manager, Stephanie Williams, does for us. And so she puts these in the live stream shows so that our audience has a way to be able to make the connection. And sometimes it takes us, a couple of times to read something or hear something to say, hey, I'm going to check that out. So Stephanie, thank you so much for doing that. Mm-hmm. Andrea's here. Yay, Andrea's here. Good to have you here. Stephanie, duct tape and zip ties. Well, not quite. Okay. The router cord, and I have to be thankful. Paul thought ahead a little bit with this one. It's an extra long cord. I think it's kind of be like 50 or 75 feet or something like that. And he says, you never know, when you're going to need this. And so I had to, it's all hooked up. I just had to kind of fish it out and bring it over into the dining room. And George, of course, was trying to be very helpful. I'm on the floor trying to get the cable out from underneath the bureau there. And he's under there and he's trying to see what I'm doing. It took me a good 10 minutes just to try to get the cord out with his help. But no duct tape. But I have a lot of, I got a power strip and I had to get another lamp, because my lighting from the old studio downstairs, I have to move the desk out to get at it. And can't do that by myself. So it made the late morning very interesting. Let's just say that. Yeah. Hey, Mervyn Kelly's with us. So glad to have you here. He's in England, so it's evening there for him. So I'm so glad. I'm glad to see you here, Mervyn. He is one of our live stream show hosts from Star to Stone, the second Tuesday of every month. And if you haven't seen his show, I invite you to experience his show. It really is a conversation, and especially very exciting when he shows us crystals and stones that he has and explains them to us, or when he does storytelling. That's my favorite, actually, when he tells us from a druidry volume of stories. Yeah. So if you haven't, join us on Tuesdays, second Tuesday. Yep. At 9 a.m. Eastern. And hey, Bobby's here too. Hello, Bobby. Good to have you here. Mervyn says, I'm making soup. Well, what kind of soup? You can't just tell us soup. What kind of soup? I was thinking about getting a roasting chicken and roasting the chicken and then making the soup. And it's a busy week. It's a very jam-packed week, so might have to wait until the weekend, but yeah. See, Rob and I need to know what kind of soup are you making and how soon will it be done? Because, you never know. We might be able to learn how to make portals, and we could be over there like anytime, right? Did you ever read a book about that? I did. I can't remember. Edna, what? No, I can't remember her last name. Waters? No. Anyway, she writes, her main genre is for young adults, right? But she wrote a series of about demigods and that kind of thing, and from a Viking perspective, and using symbols. And their magicians, their sorcerers could open portals by drawing the symbols in the air, yeah, or against a mirror or something like that. Yeah, we just need to learn how to do that. All right. Tina's saying there's a lot to watch for good info. I would have to catch up. Yeah, we do have some really good shows, I think. I know I'm partial, but a lot of good information, and sometimes it's even just a nugget, right? The one piece that you were looking for, right, falls into place. Like this morning, or this at lunchtime in the Eastern time zone with Polly Joe's show, and she was telling us about the Tree of Life, which I've got a picture of, by the way. But yeah, good stuff like that. Bobby's saying, "Silly, I'm doing chicken soup right now." You are? Well, I'll be right over. Got to make a bowl for Mom too, okay? Rob says 3D printers are the equivalent of replicators. That's true. That's true. A little Star Trek-y. Nellie is saying vegetable, leeks, potatoes, butter. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Why not transporters? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. All right. So do you have crackers or bread to go with that? Crackers or bread to go with that? A little brown bread, soda bread, that would be good. We'll put our order in right now, okay? All right. So today is Tuesday, January 22nd. And so, welcome to the show. Yeah. The daily live stream. Now, I wanted to talk just a little bit about something before we move on to the cards, because Polly Joe's show really raised a lot of, good memories for one thing. And I thought, well, maybe for those who might not have seen her show, she was talking about the Tree of Life, the sacred geometry version of the Tree of Life, and Enoch, who is also Archangel Metatron, right? And how that initial Tree of Life, in the energy field and the vibration frequency that it was brought to us by Archangel Metatron, Enoch, ancient stuff, right? And so we are in a much higher vibration. And so things, of course, are shifting and changing, right? And so in the ancient ones knew this image, the sacred geometry of the Tree of Life. And it's found in the flower of life, inside what's called Metatron's cube, which contains the 5 platonic solids that is the building block of all life, all of creation. And this is the Tree of Life. And if you caught her show, she was talking about the 2 pillars, right? So you can kind of see that. So I thought I'd show it to you. And just in case you didn't get to see that picture that I posted earlier on her page, that you get a sense of what she was talking about. Now, the thing is that this is a very powerful symbol to begin with, no matter how ancient it is and how much it has evolved and changed. The original blueprint is still there, but it has evolved, and in this new frequency that we're in. Yeah. This is what I meant about memories, because this is the stuff I studied way back in the late 90s, and learned how to use and teach. Yeah. So it was really good. And that meditation she did was really, really good. All right. Let's see. Hey, Rochelle is here. Bonjour to you too. Bonjour, Rochelle. Nijana, what's going on? Everything shut down here in Colorado Springs today too. Lots of wind and blowing snow. Yeah, we've got, well, right now the flakes are really big, and we don't have wind yet, so thank goodness for that. So stay safe. I'm glad you're with us, Rochelle. It's always good to have you here. Rochelle and I go way back. Nijana. That's Potawatomi for what's going on, what's happening. Yeah. Now Mervyn says the soup's going to be ready in about half an hour. All right. So we got a little time to do a little bit of the show, and then we can come over and have some soup with you. Small bread rolls just out of the oven. Oh, yum. Yum, says this diabetic. Oh, good. Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie put up the link to Polly Jo's show, her recorded show, for you to watch if you didn't catch it. Rob is saying you will also find the yin yang of the Tao. Yep, in the flower of life. The flower of life is a very ancient symbol. It's found all over the world. It is also found, well, like in China. Have you ever seen foo dogs? They're the dogs that are usually sitting on pedestals in front of a building, and one of them will have its paw on top of the world, an orb, right? And if you take a look at the orb, it is actually the flower of life. The flower of life is also found in Egypt, in Abydos, in the pyramid, really far in the back. I've only seen pictures. I haven't been there personally. And so it's found here in the United States as well, Turtle Island, in ancient buildings. It's found in Mexico, South America. It's found all over the world, and it predates Christianity. Yeah. So it's a very powerful symbol. The bands around the flower of life is a container. It's kind of like a cell, when we have our cells have that membrane around to hold it in place, right? When you take those two lines off, the flower of life goes on and on and on and on and on. It's all about creation. And here on Earth, that's why they have the lines around the outside. It's a container. Yeah. It's used for lots and lots of different things. Flower of life. Yeah, Polly Jo, thanks so much. You're welcome, Polly Jo. That was a great show. That's going to go down. It's one of those shows that's going to go down in history. Iconic kind of stuff. Rochelle says, I have the Kabbalah Tree of Life necklace. Wear it all the time. Yeah, you mentioned that in Polly Jo's show too. Yeah, a lot of people do wear that jewelry, and you have to know that it's very, it has a lot of energy to it, and it helps you. It helps you to be more balanced, right? Yeah. Sometimes if you're out of balance, it's really good to wear it. But if sometimes you feel like, especially when you first start wearing it, it could feel almost draining because you're not used to being in the energy field of the sacred geometry. The sacred geometry itself is found in the 6th dimension, and our physical bodies and our mental minds find it uncomfortable to be in for long periods of time. In fact, just having this picture up, some people in a few minutes will start feeling a little logy, a little sleepy, that kind of thing. Yeah. Take it down. Okay. And Rob is saying, "Que pasa? Que pasó?" I used to always say that to my dad. I'd call him Padre, Father. ¿Qué pasó? No pasa, no pasa. Nothing. Nothing's going on. Oh my gosh. Tina's saying, Neshi, I can't think of the Lakota man that had the vision of the tree of life. Maybe you know. I'd have to think about that. It was one of those stories. Let me think about that a bit, Tina. See if I can recall it, okay? It's not coming. Shoot. Because the tree of life for the Osheti Sakoi is the Sundance tree. Is the Sundance tree. So maybe that's helpful. If you know the stories about the Sundance, the center tree is the world tree or the tree of life. Yeah. Okay, Rab, you think that's funny, and it's not. It's not. It's not a joke. Yeah, there's yeah, there's a one belief that Native Americans were part of the lost tribes of Israel, and that we're the 10th tribe, something like that. Yeah, and some people believe that. And and who knows, it could possibly be true. Could be. Yeah. And yes, there are. There are Jewish Native Americans, just like there's Native Americans who are Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Episcopal, yeah, all of the above. Wavoka, no, Wavoka is from a different nation. Wavoka, it's still Southwest, but yeah, that's a different nation. Yeah. It was a book. Okay. All right. I don't know, Tina. Maybe it'll come to me later. I don't remember reading it in a book, though. Somebody was telling me about it. All right. So let's take a look at the cards, because this is the card that came first this morning. Eagle. Do you remember the other day when we had Father Sky? And the eagle was with Father Sky in that card. Yeah, this is the same rendition of that eagle, but it's facing the opposite direction. And I love that color blue. That color blue. Talons are out. Beak is open. Wings are fully extended. It's almost like he's going in, or she's going in for a catch. Hunting, right? Yeah. And down at the bottom, do you see that? It looks like an eye. Yeah. That's the shape of the Vesica Piscis. That's when in the flower of life. See if I can get that picture up again. Now there you go. It could be black elk. It could be black elk. We'll have to double check. We're going to have to fact check that, right? Double check that. Okay, so in the flower of life, do you see what looks like flowers? And you have where you might say that looks like a flower petal. Okay, that is the Vesica Piscis. That's where the circles overlap and create that gap. Yeah, create that gap. And that's called the Vesica Piscis. And that is where they say, the saying goes is, let there be light. That is the creation, that you have the energy coming together to create. And so it's a very powerful point within the flower of life. Yeah. And so it's got that kind of eye kind of shape, that almond kind of shape. Yeah. And with this one, you could say that the eagle, right, has such keen eyesight. It can see for miles. For miles. And so to have the eyesight of the eagle, meaning that you can see the detail, and yet you're also you're at a higher perspective, right? So you have clarity in sight. Yeah. That's what I think it means. And it says, see from a higher perspective. See from a higher perspective. And in the eagle comes in many different species, right? Many different kinds of eagles. You have sea eagles, you have bald eagles, you have golden eagles. Lots of eagles in different parts of the world. And it's said that the eagle flies the highest and closest to the Creator. And so this is the being who we can call upon to take our prayers directly to the Creator. Flies the highest and closest to. And what if, the way Polly Joe is telling us about Enoch, right? That he was a prophet, had a physical body, and he served the Creator so well, God so well, that God gifted him to be an archangel and gave him the territory, we'll call it, over creation. And so he sits, Archangel Metatron sits very close to the Creator. So we could almost say that the eagle carries that similar qualities, because the eagle flies closest to the Creator. Isn't it something? Yeah, very interesting. So let's see. All right, let's see. Tina said he stood on the Harney Butte. Harney Butte. Yeah, I think Rochelle might be right. It could be Black Elk. Rochelle said, I saw a bald eagle about 2:00 today. It was awesome. So you know what my mom would be asking you, Rochelle? She'd be asking you, what were you thinking or feeling at the time that you saw the eagle? Because the two things are related. Yep. That's what my mom would be asking. And Tina says, yes, Rochelle, that's it. Thanks. I read the book. Okay, so it must have been Black Elk Speaks, huh? Because that's unless you're talking about his son. And I read that book. Gosh, I think I was in 7th or 8th grade when I read that book, the original one. Thank you, Stephanie. She put in the Vesica Piscis information in there. Excellent. Thank you so much. Stephanie said, I saw one this morning while I was stretching on the porch. So serendipitous. Yes. Yes. She says, I was thinking about Father Sky and the snow that was falling. Yeah. Pretty. All right. So let's find out what Kyle has to say about eagle from his perspective, and see how it fits in for us today. It says, look at things from a different angle. Fly higher and see new possibilities. Fly higher and see new possibilities. So when you're at a higher vantage point, right? When you're at a higher vantage point, you see things differently, right? You can see it more from that higher perspective. I was just thinking about George. We have an upstairs, and so he likes to sit on the stairwell, and he can see into the kitchen from there, from a certain angle. He can see in, and then if he goes down a couple of steps, he can look out the front door. And I was asking him the other day, why do you like to sit on the steps? Because he's getting kind of big. And he was telling me that he likes to look into the kitchen because he sees me from that angle, and he can see what I'm doing. Because when he's on the floor, he can't see what I'm doing on the counters. And he's always, grumbling at me, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so from there, he can see what I'm doing. It's a different perspective. And he likes looking out the front door because there's so much going on out there, with the neighbor dogs and that kind of thing. And so a different perspective, higher perspective. Kyle goes on to say, in animal medicine, Both Native American and Celtic, the eagle draws his power and strength from the sun. He is a powerful, strong, and courageous guide who is able to see for miles. He approaches all things with intelligence, grace, and poise, and has the capacity to make a plan from a higher space before putting it into action, which is true. Because if you look at how the eagle is coming in, I was saying it looks like he's going in to catch his dinner or supper or something, right? His target. So he's honing in on it. And he's already made his plan. He's already going after his intended. Yeah, very interesting. All right, so Kyle goes on to say that when the eagle card appears in a reading, it shows that you have a real ability to take things higher and to move beyond the limitations of your ego and your selfish desires. In other words, you have the ability to elevate your perspective to your soul, and above your humanness, above our two-leggedness, right? So we can see through the eyes of our soul seen through our eyes, something like that. Yeah. Tina said, from my experience, put tobacco out and say a prayer when seeing the eagle. Yeah. A lot of times, because if I'm on the ground and I'm just walking around, absolutely. Here, a lot of times I'm in the car because we live so close to the Mississippi. In fact, we have an eagle that lives, an eagle nest, a breeding pair, probably, I want to say it's maybe 2 miles, if that, from here. And so sometimes we'll go, my sister-in-law likes to go out there and take pictures. So, yep, if I'm on the ground, I'm certainly putting tobacco down. But many times I'm in the car. And so I have a conversation with the eagle and asking about the message, bringing and thanking that eagle for coming. Yeah. Rochelle says, look at the eagle and thought, look, there's an eagle. I was very calm. Well, good. Well, it came to visit you. Interesting that near the days that you've been out and about and driving and that kind of thing. Tina says, I could sure tell a story of me, eagle, Sundance, and stone. Real story. Maybe you can tell us that. Let me think of a good time to be able to do that. We could just sprinkle it out the window. Yeah, that's not how I was taught how to give tobacco, but that's always a possibility. Nellie's saying, I have a golden. You do? Wow. Did you ever hold a feather and have it vibrate? It's not attached to the bird anymore, but holding the feather and having it vibrate in your hands. Yeah, that's a feeling that goes, for me, it goes right to my heart chakra. Yeah. Okay, so Kyle goes on to say that eagle medicine swirls around you, encouraging you to recognize that your views or vision may be limited at this time. So in other words, eagle's coming to ask us to look at whatever situation that we have from another perspective, a higher perspective, a broader perspective. It's kind of like George, when he's on the floor and we're in the kitchen, he can't see what I'm doing. And so he gets grumpy about it. He wants to know. But if he goes and sits up on the stairs, he's watching and he doesn't grump. He can see it from a different perspective. Is there a chance that your own desperation, needs, or ego could be blocking you from seeing the potential in your current situation? That kind of goes along with the card that we had yesterday. I think it was yesterday, about the peacekeeper and about letting go of the need to be right. Yeah, this kind of goes along with that because the need to be right is really attached to our ego, right? Yeah. If you're feeling the need for something to change, how can you take the higher road? Know that if you have intentions that aren't for the goodest, the highest good, it will only hold you back. It will only hold you back. Eagle medicine can help you change this. The eagle brings the energy of healing and love directly from the heart of Father Sky and invites you to do all things from the place of love. And that's kind of where we get the saying, do it in a good way, right? That means doing it from your heart. Doing it from your heart. It's a good card. Roberta, should say Polly Joe sounds like we need to go out on the houseboat for an eagle trip. Yeah, you have your boat right there on the Mississippi, right? And Tina says, wind takes it. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Sounds like a road trip, Polly Joe. And Bobby is saying, we all need to go out on the houseboat. We can take maybe 12, not just Polly Joe. Oh my gosh. Sounds like a road trip to me. Or maybe one of those portals again. Yeah. I thought we were going to Mervin's house for soup. Okay. Well, this is the first card that came. The eagle. And, when you take it into consideration, the cards that came yesterday, right? It was about the peacekeeper and the hermit, right? Taking time to go into the quiet. And really, this is we're integrating, right? We've been integrating whatever changes that happened, and especially with the lunar eclipse, the releasing, letting go of things that no longer serve us, doesn't support us, so that we can make room, energetic room, for those things that do support us, that do assist us in our soul growth and our soul contract. And so with this card, when we're integrating those changes, sometimes we do need to see it from a higher perspective. If we're still working on letting something go or healing something, moving our perspective to our soul, and letting go of that part of that situation that is the two-legged part, the human part. It's a little bit lower vibration, obviously. And so if we can get above it, if we can get our perspective above it, that maybe we can find a way to be able to let that go, to let it go. Because it feels like, there's many of us have healed a great deal in this past year, and even in the last few months. And so in order to really bring it into our being and ground it into our physical life, it's called residual energy, is to be able to clear that away. And that is by letting go of the vestiges of it, letting it go. And with the eagle medicine, it can help us to see it from another perspective. Okay, and so it also goes along with, for those of you who've read, and many of us have several times, the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. Don't take things personally. The word is sacred. And so when we're looking at it from that perspective, when we're not taking things personally, that means that we're seeing it from a higher perspective. We're seeing it from our soul perspective. Yeah. And if we need help, we have eagle medicine that can help us with that. You can even ask your spiritual team. Your spiritual team is, how do I get the eagle perspective medicine on this? And they'll show you how, or they'll bring it to you. Yeah. Isn't it great we have help, right? And Mervin's saying the bird gave it to me. I was at a flying display of birds of prey a few years ago. The guy who took care of the birds picked up feathers and the birds had cast off and gave them to a few people. I got the eagle feather. How cool is that? That's very nice. It's very nice. Golden eagle. Mervin, do you have other eagles in England as well, other than golden? Or I'm just assuming you were at home going to this display of birds of prey. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. That bing. That is that's my sisters having a conversation. It'll have to catch up on. All right, so here's the second card that came. We had this. I think it was yesterday. Autumn. So to have the same card 2 days in a row, the Spirit really wants us to look at this and would really, really like us to take it into consideration. Because we still have free will. We still have choice, right? But, it's about release the old and rest. Release the old and rest. And with the raven, here we go again. We got bird medicine, right? Is about healing and initiation. So if we take the time to let things go and to rest, possibly when in that letting go, we have gone through an initiation, or possibly when we're letting go of something that no longer supports us, and we rest and integrate, take it in, acclimate to that new frequency, then we're prepared to go into the initiation of what's next, right? That feels like that's more like it. That we're Spirit is helping us to prepare for the next initiation. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me anyway. Autumn. About letting go. Next page. Release the old and rest. The message is release all the pressure and expectation weighing you down. Shed it all so that you can recover before moving on or moving into a time of renewal. So it's preparing us for the next initiation. So sometimes you too just have to surrender an aspect of yourself in order to continue to grow and prosper. So, they were relating autumn to how trees let go of their leaves, right? And so in that letting go, the tree sends its energy to its root system, still alive, but it's gathering energy now. Yeah, and so we too can follow that, to let it go. It says, when you let go, you make space for the new to enter your life. You're being guided by your angels and nature herself to release whatever is stopping you from moving forward. And you can do this. So you can remove whatever is stopping you. And so whatever it is in that releasing is that removal, letting it go. Letting go of the need to be right, seeing it from a higher perspective so you really can let it go. You can clear out that residual energy that's kind of hanging around. Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. This is Raven Medicine information. Good. And Mervin is saying this is the white. There is the white-tailed eagle too. They're very rare here. Only about 50 pairs in Scotland. Well, let's go to Scotland and find them. Another road trip. Well, that's very interesting. Rare whitetail. Huh. I'm going to have to look that up. I want to see one. What one looks like. All right. So we have these two cards that came today. Look at that bird medicine there. And notice that they're both looking in the same direction. Looking forward, you might say. Looking to the future. Because if you're releasing something that no longer supports you, it's usually in the past, recent past even. Yeah, it's good stuff. Letting things go. And the thing is that, especially with this card, Spirit is really wanting us to take a look at this. Very strong suggestion that we release the old and rest. Release the old and rest. So do you have anything that is still kind of hanging on? Anything that you've been working on for a while and you feel like this is, that you just want it done. It's tiring. It really pulls at you, takes your energy, right? Especially we're still in the effects of that lunar eclipse. So you still have time. You still have time. I've know people who recently, right, for the eclipse, wrote out their intentions and lit a candle and said, what they wanted to release, which is great. Yeah, you still have time. If you have something that's still there, what do they call that? Niggling? Niggling. In some respects, gnawing. They're just gnawing at you. That you can let it go. If you call on eagle medicine, if you need help, to see it from a higher perspective, see it from your soul perspective, so you can let it go. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. All right, let's see. I'm going to get caught up in the chat. All right, here we go. Nellie is saying, Reverend is saying, the common buzzard seems to be doing quite well. I see him flying around here quite often. So is that must be like our turkey vulture, huh? Yeah, symbol of the goddess. Mm-hmm. Egyptian. Bobby is saying when we go to Fanghorn to talk to the rocks, we can stop over. Okay. Are you talking about Finhorn in Scotland? I think so. These cards have a lot of energy. Yes, they do. They really do. I agree. Mervyn is saying the red kite is doing well. I've seen a couple near here where I live. There's been a major conservation effort going on with them. Oh, that's good. That's great. Those must be birds of prey, huh? And Tina's saying there's a lot of blackbirds here. Can't distinguish between raven and crows. Yeah, that when you first see them, I understand, Tina. For me, it's the size. When you think that, wow, that crow is really big, it's usually a raven. And you can ask them. Ask them, are you a raven or are you a crow? I want to learn how to distinguish, to get to know you. You can ask them. And they'll tell you. Yeah. I don't, especially when you're saying that you're coming from a direction of please help me. I really would like to know, because it's it's kind of like ravens cannot like being called crows for one reason or another. Andrea is saying all the healing cards that have been up lately are so perfect for this time. Heart healing, especially with the eclipse in Leo. Yes. I agree, Andrea. And Bobby is saying, yes, autocorrect blessings and. Yeah, I kind of figured. Tina says, well, they must be ravens. Probably are. Chances are, given the card that we have today. Yeah. Yeah, and Bobby, I know that autocorrect, sometimes, it's like, yay. But most of the time it's like, dang it. And then you have to retype it or, type that asterisk and the word that you meant to use, right? Yeah. All right. Well, I was just looking at this. Also, on the Raven card, up in the corner, we have the quarter moons. The quarter moons. Also a symbol of the goddess. Yeah. Autumn leaves. And then the eagle one, the eye down at the bottom is fascinating to me. It's like the all-seeing eye. And then taking in the sacred geometry of it. It's about creation. But it really does look like an eye, doesn't it? It even has a pupil. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little dot right in the center. Yeah. So being able to see something from a higher perspective. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Stephanie says, the last time I asked to learn the difference between raven and a crow, I ended up with a dead raven in my path. Beautiful creatures. They have a different number of pin feathers. They do. Huh. That's interesting. But yeah, you can, even though you might not call yourself an animal communicator, basically, especially if you're calling in your help of your spiritual team to help them, ask them to be your translator, right? Is that you can have that conversation with any animal, or actually any being, let's put it that way, any one of our relatives we can talk to. So many times when we're coming from our heart chakra, when we're coming from our heart, we can understand them so much better. Yeah, so much better. Oops. Almost knocked my phone off the table. Okay, so anything and everything that we've talked about today, if it resonated with you, pick it up and embrace it. And notice how the energy unfolds for you today and where this information may be helpful, especially that one question I asked you, if there was something or anything that is still there, the remnants are still there, you can feel it, you can sense it, being honest with yourself about it, because we have the help of all our relatives to be able to let it go, to see it from a higher perspective so you can let it go. And if you do have something, tap into the energy that we're in right now with that lunar eclipse, and so that you can finally be free of it. Yeah. If it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. There's always tomorrow and tomorrow's cards. You never know, right? And I always say maybe you can be a messenger. Maybe you know somebody that would enjoy the conversation or is looking for the information, and you can share the recorded video with them. Yeah. We've got a whole lineup of shows this week for you. Oh my gosh. Polly Joe has actually kicked it off for us at noon. And let's see, there's this live stream. And then tonight is my weekly show, Communications from Home. And we're going to be talking about the medicine wheel and thought, and see where that takes us, where spirit will take us with that one. And tomorrow, Wednesday, is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay, and that is an evening of healing and divine messages. So the first half of the live stream is about the healing meditation. And if you're a light worker, an energy worker who hasn't been doing your own self-care, because sometimes we put ourselves last on that list, this is an offering, a time frame for you to be able to come with your own intention of whatever healing there is that's needed, and with your own spiritual team. Polly Jo and her team hold that energy for us, that sacred space for us, and assist us in removing or healing what needs to be healed, right? The second half is about the card draw. And if you enjoy having a mini card reading from Polly Jo, you can join us for that. I think the most cards she's drawn so far is 55 in one night. That's a lot, but she's really good at it. And so if you want to join us for that, Soul Connections is on at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, you can find her at Chakra Sessions fan page here at Facebook. And Thursday is at 4 p.m. Eastern is Angel Therapy. It's a brand new show with a brand new show host, Maureen Mann. It's her debut. They're premiering on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and it's all about angels. She is going to introduce us to the angels from her perspective, and you guys can get to know her. I think she's doing a card draw too that night. And then Thursday night, the 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern, at the Star Nations Academy closed group is a free mini class. It's called Tarot 101. And what's up with the tarot, right? With Julie Hedges. And that particular free class, it's an hour class, actually was birthed out of this afternoon live stream, the daily live stream. And that question came from, thank you very much, Tina. And because she was asking, what's the difference between a tarot card and an oracle card? And so, yeah, and Julie started the explanation, but there's a lot more there. And so come and join us at the Star Nations Academy at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday evening, the 24th, okay? And if you're not a member of the closed group, the Academy, all you have to do is go to the page, the group, and ask to join, okay? And we'll get you set up. If you do that, make sure you do it before the class, because I can check up until about an hour before the class starts, okay? So Eastern time, before 7 p.m. Eastern, if you need to join. Okay. So I was just looking at the time as I sit here in my dining room, part of the kitchen. Yeah, and I'm going to be broadcasting from here tonight as well. And so you can join me for communications from home, okay? All right. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily live stream and card draw information. Bama Mina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.